What is up, Nickel City Mafia and Red, White, and Bills? We're streaming live to both tonight. We got a lot to get into. Gut-wrenching loss last night. I don't know about you guys. I didn't sleep at all last night. And then, of course, I had to go into work, and I don't live in Bills country, so someone's always throwing me the shade. How about those Bills? Oh, my God. I got to get to next Sunday. But anyhow, we got a lot to get through. First of all, Jake Podger joining me. We're going to get in. We're going to talk about, throw it over to Jake here in a little bit. He was at the game. Got our good friend from Red, White, and Bills, Sean, joining us. But before we get into everything, let's talk about this amazing giveaway because, Jake, this is the last time we're going to be going live with our show before we announce the winner next Sunday. And for those that are around, I want you to stick around through the show. I'm going to give you a way to get a guaranteed entry into that contest. And that's going to be on that final wheel. And that's where you want to be. You want to be on that wheel that we're going to spin to give away those tickets. So talking to us about Triple G, our great, amazing sponsor, who's a lot of buzz on this actual giveaway. Talk to us about Gorilla Garage Gear.
Yes. So tremendous opportunity for you and a special friend that you're going to be bringing, hopefully, to win a chance at 2 Bills tickets to the Sunday night game, home against the Packers the day before Halloween. A little Sunday night football action. Gorilla Garage, our sponsor, very fortunate to partner with them on this. They are, a local company based in Buffalo. They do floor epoxy and they do garage doors. They do storage on walls. They do a little bit of everything. And if you want your garage looking nice, if you want it to hold up throughout the seasons and stand the test of time, definitely a great company to go with. And we appreciate the heck out of them. Not only are they including those 2 tickets, Mike, they're including parking passes as well. So you're able to park at their place free of charge. They're right down the street from the stadium, right on Allen Street, Josh Allen Street. And just an awesome opportunity for you and someone else to go to the game.
Awesome. Yeah, Jake and I will be announcing the winner next Sunday morning. So let's play a little clip on our great friends from Gorilla Garage Gear, Triple G as we like to call them. Let's roll it.
Nothing beats a Gorilla Garage floor, the ultimate floor coating system. Our secret ingredient, a slow cure solid epoxy mortar used to repair and prime the surface. Then we grind it, vac it, coat, color, scrape, and seal it. And with dozens of colors to choose from, your Gorilla Garage floor is the toughest on the market. Visit GorillaGarageGear.com or call 715-6927.
Go, go, Gorilla!
Awesome. All you got to do to get into the giveaway is be a subscriber, comment on our videos, all the videos, including all the way back till 9/7 when we launched the initial giveaway video. So just leave a comment. That's going to give you more opportunities. And like I said, stay around on this show today. We're going to give you a way to get a guaranteed entry on that final wheel. All right, lots to get into. First, let's throw it over to Jake. First of all, let me introduce these 2 great guys. Mr. Jake Podger, my guest or my co-host, as always. Jake, how you doing? I mean, we're going to get into it a little bit with you, telling us your story there about being at Hard Rock Stadium.
Yeah.
And then, but you have to be super tired, man. Thank you for doing the show so late.
No problem, Mike. Listen, anything for football. First off, anything for the Bills. It was an amazing experience outside of just, a gut-wrenching loss. I mean, everything else leading up to it was amazing. Everything after the fact could have been better for sure, but still had a great time. We were with great company. And I'll tell you this, we won the tailgate. I can for sure say that we won the tailgate. And my voice is a little hoarse still, I think, from all of it. A lot of drinks went down, probably lost about 10 pounds, but also put it back on and beer and the amount of food I ate there. So pretty incredible experience across the board.
Yeah, I mean, your voice has definitely got to be strained because you were at back-to-back football games. My goodness,
insane.
You had a short week to prepare for that for that game.
I'm not even drinking my normal blue. I went with the seltzer water tonight because if I drink any more beer, people might think I have a problem.
I hear you. Also joining us is our good friend, as always, from the Red, White, and Bills channel. He's got a great show over there. Always make sure you check him out. We're streaming live. So hello to everyone over there on the Red, White, and Bills. Our good friend, Sean. There's nobody cooler than Sean Kula. How you doing, Sean?
I'm doing okay. How are you? I'm alive.
But we've been chatting all day. It's been a struggle. Man, I'm going to throw it over to Jake real quick just to give us a little more in depth about his experience there, about the fans, about the, how much Bills Mafia represented the heat. We really want to know about that heat because, man, did it play a factor. So let me throw it to you, Jake.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, right from the get-go. I mean, I woke up at 6:30 in the morning, Mike, and I immediately walked outside. So we were staying about 30 minutes outside of Miami, right outside of the stadium. They're about 30 minutes away in Hollywood Beach, and walked outside, and it was already like 82 degrees. I'm like, this is insane this early in the morning. And not only was it just 82 degrees, I mean, it was humid as hell. So the second I walked out there, walking just from our hotel to our car, I mean, I was already drenched in sweat. I had a jersey on. I was wearing my Reggie Gilliam jersey on, and I felt like I had to still represent. I mean, I'm not going to not wear that jersey, but I'm like, geez, if this is any indication of what it's going to be like, it's going to be a long day, So, so then we get to the tailgate. We parked in this lot. First off, they don't open their actual lots there until about 9:00, which is psychotic. I mean, that's unheard of. I mean, Bills lots open up well earlier than that. I mean, you have people tailgating in the RV lots on like the Thursday before a Sunday game. So a little bit different in that aspect. However, we ended up going to the fans of Buffalo. They had a big tailgate. They had all the RVs parked in this one lot. It's in the bus lot. And my gosh, I mean, I'm going to take one jab at these Dolphins fans here. I would feel embarrassed. Like how, if I showed up to the Bills stadium and saw that many of the opposing team representing at a tailgate, I'd be like, what are we doing wrong here? Like how do we not have this good of a fan base? It's without a doubt. I mean, Bills Mafia absolutely showed up. I would say the ratio for Bills to Dolphins fans at the game, it was probably 60-40, and I'm saying Bills Dolphins in that aspect. But I will say Dolphins fans, they were pretty loud in the stadium, but the tailgate, we absolutely won that, like I said. And it only got hotter. I would say by kickoff, I think the real feel was in the hundreds. And again, like I said, it was so damn humid. And for the Bills to be wearing those dark jerseys and to just be baking in the sun all day absolutely was a factor. It wasn't only a factor just for the Bills, too. I mean, there was Dolphins guys as well that were cramping up, getting IVs. I mean, just taking pickle juice shots on the sidelines. Like that. It was for both teams, but it was obviously a little more noticeable with the Bills. I think a lot of the impact players, we saw Isaiah McKenzie and Stephon Diggs, a couple other guys have to come out of the game, go back into the game. And it certainly played a factor, but the experience was awesome. The stadium is beautiful. Our seats were really good. We're actually sitting in the 300 level, so we're a little bit higher up, but I was actually cool with it because we were in a shady area. There was a nice seat. So we were pretty comfortable throughout the entire game, which was really good. And I mean, it is a state-of-the-art stadium. They've hosted a few Super Bowls, college national championships, so it has to be all up to date and whatnot. So I will say the stadium was absolutely gorgeous. And I think as far as that goes, I have no complaints. I thought the getting in was great. We got to our seats right away, and we were able to watch warm-ups and go from there. But Bills Mafia showed up. I can tell you that, guys. I mean, the tailgate experience, incredible. A lot of beers went down. I was feeling really good walking into that game, and I think everyone felt the same way that there was no way we were going to lose. But of course, it kind of turned out the other way there. So it's what it is. But awesome time for sure.
Yeah, I mean, on the broadcast, I will say the Dolphin fans represented well. It was super loud. Now, I don't know if the Bills fans were also just going crazy as well, but it was super loud on TV. So they represented well. So we're going to get into it. First of all, before I throw it around the group here, because we're all going to have 5 minutes. I'm putting everyone on the clock today. We're on a tight schedule today. We're going to put everyone on the clock. But before I get into it, I want to give you some injury updates. And let's start with Tommy Doyle, out for the year with a torn ACL. Here's our backup tackle. Christian Benford, the great star rookie that we had, who just, 6th-round pick, gets the starting gigs, played fantastic. He's got a fractured hand. He's going to be out at least 3 to 6 weeks. I did think it was interesting that Jamarcus Ingram came in for Benford instead of Cam Lewis. We can talk about that a little bit later. Right guard Ryan Bates, concussion protocol. I mean, maybe they just need to send him to the whoever Tua went through in his concussion protocol, and he'll be cleared, I guess.
You're just going to say you got a back injury.
Yeah, that's what they said. There he is, Trick 88. I was hoping Trick showed up. He actually joined
Glad he
us on our
joined.
halftime show, and I got to say something a little funny about our halftime show. We tried something new. I mean,
Yeah.
it was the fact that you were able to connect, the fact that Sean had to walk around. We actually got quite a few views, but somebody didn't like us. Somebody unsubscribed. They were unhappy. I was like,
Wow.
okay, I'm sorry. I hope we win you back. We like to experiment once in a while and throw new things out there. We tried. We learned, and
Well, sometimes people just delete their YouTube account, so it automatically unsubs. So don't think it's because
maybe I don't know. But good to see you, Trick 808. We know you're a Tua fan, not really a Dolphin fan, but a Tua fan, and you were right. He came through once again. We'll talk about all that. So good to see you out there, Trick. A Red, White, and Bills. Of course, that's Sean out there, and Go Bills podcast. Yes, good to see you out there. And Tom was out there early. Tom's funny. I hope he joins us because this gentleman, he's always like very early for our shows or very late. He's like, damn it.
One or the other.
Look, he said, I thought this was in 25 minutes, or he'll come out after the show and damn it, I missed it. So anyhow, let's kick off the show. We're going to go to Sean first. And Sean, you got 5 minutes. I know you got a lot to get off your chest. If you need a couple more minutes, I can throw that way because I think I'll wrap up in 3. So let me throw it to you first, man.
I'll try to keep it short, but as I told you guys during the game, once we had that 20-play drive, it took 12 minutes and we lost 4 starters. I said it's over at that point because you just got 3 points. You wasted all that energy. These guys were already cooked as it is, and you only got 3 points. And then I said, well, I mean, when you look at these big linemen, they all these injuries that happen on the line, they have no more backup to do. Because Bobby Hart's suspended. You got to put Tommy Doyle at guard when he's a tackle. And then even then, he played on a torn ACL. So, we had no other option.
Yeah.
And so, after wasting all that time and effort and energy for these guys, you go put 3 points on the board. So, at that point, I was for sure yeah, I believe in my team always. But when you look at, what's going on in the field, that's it. And then the next drive, Tua throws that 45-yard bomb on a 3rd and 22, and then they score a touchdown, and then that's it. So that's when I kind of knew, based off of how the heat was affecting the Bills players, even the skills guys. And when you really think about it, it wasn't that they couldn't play in the heat. It's just that they had 40 minutes time of possession. When you have 12 minutes straight of playing football, I played in 100-degree heat, not like Miami heat, but I play both sides of the ball. And at halftime, they put a cold washcloth on my neck, and I pissed myself. The heat's not. It's not something that people should be playing in that much time. And that's the other thing. I'm more mad at the coaching. What kind of terrible game plan? If you knew you wanted to keep the Dolphins offense off the field, and you were going to have these long drives, yet you only suited up 5 wide receivers and barely any offensive linemen. So, and then when Kumaro goes down, you got one healthy receiver, and then that one healthy receiver gets banged up because he cramps because he's on the field for 40 minutes. And then you have no healthy receivers, and that changes your playbook because, Knox got effed up, and then Diggs is screwed up, McKenzie screwed up, Davis was already screwed up going into the game, and then you got Crowder. He's the only one that was healthy. And then that shortens your playbook even more. And then Diggs is off the field in important drives. Gabe Davis has scissor hands and can't catch a ball. It was just so frustrating to watch. And if you're the coaches, that's going to be hot in Miami. Your game plan for the whole week is to keep the Dolphins offense off the field, which you did, but you didn't have the right personnel to do it now. Because now you have 5 wide receivers. With one of them going into the game, Gabe Davis was already hurt. So basically you have 4 healthy receivers going into the game in 100-degree heat when you plan on staying on the field for a long period of time. So that didn't make sense to me. And then not running the ball also hurt Josh in the end, I believe, because when you're throwing the ball almost 70 times, that's probably why he missed that wide open touchdown to McKenzie. And he had a hurt hand too. So it's trying to throw the ball every time and just being on the field constantly. I think that really affected the game too. And then I'm not gonna mention I already told from the beginning, even with injuries, we should still win this game. And even losing 6 more people during the game, we still should have won the game without anything talking about the injuries, because You had that Milano pick six that should have been a pick six that wasn't. Gabe Davis dropped a touchdown in the end zone. Josh Allen missed a touchdown wide open in the end zone. Bass missed a field goal. Then Josh fumbled a snap that could have been a field goal. And then the last drive, Gabe Davis dropped 2 passes and Diggs dropped a pass as well. And then Quisenberry got a call for holding. So when people look at the game, the Bills dominated at every facet of the game. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a Bills fan, but with all that being said, all the things I just mentioned, none of that was Miami's doing. That was all Buffalo's doing to themselves. That's 40 points left on the board right there. That just 40, if Davis caught that, they should have challenged that too. That was what I was screaming at the TV. He had 2 feet down and it was 2 steps. That was a touchdown, and he fumbled it after he caught it and went outside the end zone on the side, which would have been still a touchdown. So with all that being said, I'm still angry at the coaches about how they went with the game plan and the personnel they decided to bring to the game. And then, all the shooting ourselves in the foot again, had every opportunity to win, and we beat ourselves. But you give credit to Miami. They were more sound and fundamentally, and they didn't make any mistakes. So that's what it comes down to. Yeah, and Trick says Miami dropped picks, but none of them were pick sixable. So I don't really count that as like a equivalent to anything, because also we didn't score on those drives anyway. But no, also I'm not going to say that I'm never happy when a person gets injured, because that's their livelihood and it can end somebody's career and their life. So I would never be happy for an injury, but I've also been concussed, and I've had the back injury that they're claiming that Tua had, and that doesn't happen. So, but when you get concussed, you fumble. I got knocked unconscious, and you watch Mahomes last year get wobbly like that. He was concussed the same way. So they're doing some crazy stuff out there. And if he had that back problem, like he says, he wouldn't be able to throw 45-yard bombs the next drive after he got had a back spasm. But yeah, a lot of Bills shooting themselves in the foot. You can look at that game and say, yep, Miami was a better team. They were, they beat us, so you could say that. But when you really think about it, I still think the Bills have a better roster and a better team, and they will be a better team come the end of the season. But I mean, I said from the beginning, if the Dolphins can't win now, yesterday, when will they?
Yeah, I want to answer Trick 808's question as well, and I'm sure Jake will. When he went out, honestly, my only concern was for his health, right? And it looked, and I want to hear what you think, Trick. It looked like it was concussion. The way he was acting, it didn't look like a back injury. I have a bad back, so I know how these things act up. But no, I wanted them in there. I wanted to play the best, and so I was happy. And when we went live on our halftime show, we both. I mean, even Jake said he saw him walking off the field. He can barely walk. Yeah, that could look like a back, but I mean, initially, the way he hit, you saw the fall. He fell back hard on his head, and how many times have we seen people get concussed that way? So for me, no, I was happy to see him come back. I'm happy to see him get the win. Good for him. And yeah, I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. What about you, Jake?
Yeah. I mean, well, first off, so yeah, when I joined you guys at half, I think that's about the only type of audio you could convey from what I was saying was that probably the only thing you could understand me saying was
we did hear that
Tua's out, man. No
out.
Chance he comes back.
Yeah,
probably for the best, guys. I was buzzing at that point of the game too. I was pretty hopped up on the beers. I was doing pretty good. But when I saw that, I'm like, it's definitely a sinking feeling, because first off, I mean, you never want to see an injury like that, and on top of it, you always want to beat a team at their best. So I feel like with Tua being out, you almost lose the credibility. Like, you beat this Dolphins. Like, that's a good Dolphins team. Don't get me wrong. They are a very good football team. I'm not going to discredit them at all. That bend don't break defense that they played, tremendous job. I mean, the name of the game for them was just the red zone defense. And they were able to hold us. They did what they could, and it worked out in their favor. And for us, the game plan going into it was like, control the game. And we controlled the game so much that we actually lost it. Like, if that even makes sense. I mean, 40 minutes and 40 seconds or whatever it was of time of possession, yet only mustering 17 points of total offense. I mean, that's piss poor. I mean, we should have dropped 35 on them, but we didn't. And that's reality. It is what it is, and it stings. There are a lot of positives to extract from this because I think we are still the best team in the AFC. I mean, yes, we were down a lot of guys, but sometimes you just go out there and you lose. And we went out there and we just didn't do enough. We shot ourselves in the foot one too many times. And eventually you can't keep doing that against a team that's halfway decent. And then another thing that I am a little concerned with, I mean, it was good experience for us because we need to be in these close game situations like this. And the last, 7 games or whatever, we've been like 0-7 in one-score games. So, yeah, that's certainly frustrating and a little alarming at the same time. So that's something we got to figure out. Either it's a blowout or we lose in a one-score game. So it's one of the two, it seems like. And, obviously yesterday that's what it was. So definitely unfortunate. I think the Dolphins, obviously, they just sort of did enough and were able to weather the storm. I thought they did a really good job of getting pressure. They were blitzing well. They played a lot of cover 0 yesterday, which you haven't seen in years against the Bills. I mean, just respecting the weapons that we had, but our guys were so gassed and so tired. I mean, we had like third string receivers in the game at one point, so with Jay Kumaro going out too, it certainly didn't help. We only had so many guys that could be out on the field at one time. I mean, Reggie Gilliam was lining up wide at a few times. It was crazy to see, and anytime you run 90 plays, like Sean was saying, I think these guys, obviously, a lot of these guys are from the South. They know what this weather's like. A lot of these guys have played in heat like this. And, the human body already is not meant to play this beautiful game. Then you factor in the heat. Then you factor in running 90 plays. And on one of those drives, 12 straight minutes of football. I mean, that is
that's what killed them. That was it. Like I said, that was the game.
Think about that. I don't know if anyone is conditioned for something like that. And even so, the Dolphins players were going down with the same type of issues. They had a lot of cramps themselves. So you can't really use that excuse, but it certainly was something to take into consideration for the Bills. And like I said, we sort of controlled the game so much and had so much time of possession that we probably lost the game just because of that alone. I feel like it was too much on that one side of it where we just were trying to control the ball and we didn't put points on the board. So It sucks, man. It is what it is. A lot to learn from it. A lot of injuries, unfortunately, and we just got to get healthy.
Yeah. A couple more things, Mike. Sorry. Just to go off what Trick said, he said the 2 touchdowns came off a 0 blitz. The 0 blitz did absolutely nothing, when we had the starters out there because Josh was doing it perfectly. You throw where the blitz comes from. And he was taking all the checkdowns. All the plays. So, but when you're referring to they blitzed a lot in the end, it wasn't just blitzing. It was because you have a right guard playing on a torn ACL, and you have all these people that are gas playing. The offensive line from that third quarter on was done. They were just absolutely finished, and they couldn't hold the block for anything. So, and those two, we were 2 for 4 in the goal-to-goal situations. And 2 of the misses were a drop touchdown and a missed pass from Josh Allen wide open.
That's true. That is true.
So the bend them, don't break defense they played, it worked because we failed ourselves. So what I'm saying is they get credit for sure from everybody because they won, but let's not ignore the fact that Josh makes that play 99 times out of 100. There was 0 pressure on that play, and McKenzie was wide open. And then Gabe Davis caught the ball, and then I don't know what he did, but I mean, again, it was just more of missed opportunities from us. I think they should have blew us out probably by 20 with what happened to us, and somehow we stood in the game. So I think the guys that went in and had to play, I give them a lot of credit too, because I mean that's a lot of problems to deal with during a game, and you got undrafted rookies playing. You got people playing out of position because they had to, people playing injured, people playing passing out in the field. So, I mean, I give them a little bit of credit. And, but like you said, they made a couple more plays than we did when it mattered. And, that big play from Tua to Waddle was their big play that mattered. And then, our quarterback couldn't make the big play that mattered to McKenzie. And then with the second opportunity, it was the 2 drop passes from Davis, a drop pass from Diggs, and then the holding from Quessenberry that ultimately
brutal
kept us
and then not getting out of bounds.
Yeah, and then Yep says you lost 3 linemen too, but that wasn't actually true because they all came back to play. We had guys that went out and then couldn't come back to play. But again, we're not saying that the Dolphins didn't have injuries as well, but we just couldn't rebound from our injuries because the offense was just the time of possession. It looks good on the stat sheet, 40 minutes to 20, but that's what was the demise of the Bills. And again, I put that on the coaching. It was a good game plan for most places, but knowing that it's 100 degrees, a week ahead of time, and then you go and get these guys gassed out and then cramping up and having heat illness and all that stuff. Because again, I'll battle this with anybody. Playing offensive line is a lot harder than playing defensive line. So when you're passing 70 times and you're on the field for 20 minutes and you're trying to anchor down and hold 300-pound men from getting to Josh Allen, that's going to burn you out quicker than just putting all your body weight into somebody and, finessing them with moves. And they got beat, and they weren't ready for 12 minutes in a row of football in the heat. And the Dolphins players were probably better off because they practice in it, they play in it most of the time. So, they were more prepared, you could say, especially for if you wanted to run this kind of offense. And, they're probably practicing inside all week too. I guarantee it. So, I mean, and it's not that warm here anyway. So I don't know.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to say we got a lot of folks out there I see listening. Come on, chime in on the live chat. We don't care what fan base you're from. We're a friendly channel here. We love to interact and talk facts. So I see a bunch of people out there. So hey, if you're new to the channel, we always say here at Nickel City Mafia, just drop a nickel on that subscribe button and go check out Sean if you're over his show as well, Red, White, and Bills, and smash that like and subscribe as well. So I have a lot of notes, guys. I've been waiting patiently. First of all, I said I was not going to be that fan that had any excuses, and I'm not. Mm-hmm. And so I have some kudos to go around, and then I have some disappointments to share from my perspective. So first of all, kudos to the Dolphins for the win, and kudos to their defense for being physical and playing the best bend but don't break defense I've ever seen. I mean, they used the home field advantage, making the Bills earn every yard and then shut the door inside the red zone, eventually wearing down the Bills' offense. We barely had anyone who could stay on the field towards the end of the game. Here's what we did in the second half. They made us go 20-play drive, 87 yards, 9 minutes. 20 plays. Yes, 20 plays on that drive, 87 yards, 9 minutes and 22 seconds. We got 3 points. Amazing. Bend, don't break. Then we went 8 plays, 60 yards, took 2 minutes and 51 seconds. We missed the field goal. Then a 17-play, 73 yards, 8 minutes and 19 seconds. Downs, turnover on downs. That's where they made that great stop. And we had 4 downs to get it in at the 2-yard line. Then we had our final play, right, to try to get a field goal. 7 plays, 36 yards, a minute and 33. Game over, time ran out, and everyone was gassed out. That defense gave the Bills O-line fits all day. 4 sacks, strip sack, fumble recovery. Melvin Ingram continues to wreak havoc on the Bills. Stud. Not only did he did it last year in the Pittsburgh game, the opening day, and cost us to lose that game. He did it in the 13-second game, and here he is. He's just got something on the Bills. I think any team that wants to try and beat the Bills, they did it right by bringing him on. I wanted us to get him on our side, and we did it, unfortunately. Let's see. Who else did I talk about? Melvin Ingram, Jerome Baker. Oh, my goodness. All over the field, that linebacker, making all kinds of plays. He was like, every time there was a play, they were throwing his name out there. Javon Holland, man, what a nice second-year guy to have.
Top 5 safety in the league.
Unbelievable. Strip sack, incredible. Xavier Howard, who had a groin injury, actually had a really nice game. I know I feel like Diggs has had the better of him over the past 7 games. But this game, Howard showed up, and when you consider that he was going with a groin injury, absolutely amazing. Kudos to Mike McDaniel for a well-coached game and winning his first 3 games. That's incredible. He looks to be the real deal. This guy, no joke. I mean, the guy looks calm, cool, collective. He's obviously a genius at play calling, and he's getting the job done. And then, of course, kudos to Tua for a gutsy performance and coming back from injury and leading his team to victory. I mean, all the naysayers can say what they want. The guy's getting it done. And I think he's finally got a coach that can work with him and just make him better. Sort of like what happened with Josh, right? Josh came in, was a piece of clay. And Dable worked with him, and look where he is now. And I think that's now that Tua has that type of coach, and he also has tools around him. I mean, the sky's the limit over the next few years for him. All right, enough on the Dolphins. Again, credit to the Dolphins. Kudos to the Dolphin fans. Kudos to Josh Allen, man, for carrying this team on his back. When you have to throw the ball 63 times and you are harassed the entire game, you will get shaken. And he did get shaken. I mean, there were things happening. He did play some hero ball. I saw that Trick mention it. I mean, on that final drive, he almost threw 3 picks. I was hoping to have some game film, but all 22 wasn't available. He almost threw 3 picks on that final drive where we finally turned it over on downs. He also almost threw a pick at halftime. I mean, the guy just has to snap the ball, down it, and we're going to have a field goal try. He fumbles it, and again, that was a problem with Van Roten. There's something out of sync with that. Van Roten's our backup center, for those that don't know. Mitch Morse is our starter. But ever since Van Roten's been in, there's been a sync issue with him and Josh. So he fumbles the ball. He can't down it, or can't, clock it. So he has to throw it to the sideline. I don't know about you. From my view and from the broadcast, I'm thinking that's a pick 6. That corner was right there. I don't know how it got to Diggs. But again, kudos to Josh. Did everything he could. And again, for me, there's no one I want at quarterback. Kudos to the Bills defense. I mean, for forcing 5 punts from the Dolphins. I mean, we forced 5 punts with this secondary that was in shambles. We did a fantastic job. And, anytime you tell me that we're going to stop an opposing offense 5 times, I'm thinking the odds of us winning this game are going to be high, in my opinion. I mean, I don't see how we lose. If I was to tell you, Jake, we're going to stop him, we're going to make him punt 5 times, you'd feel pretty good about that, right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Kudos to the Bills for keeping Tyreek Hill to 2 catches for 33 yards. Waddle had 4 for over 100, and of course that big 3rd and 22. And we can talk about that, and we'll probably get into that in our game film. That was the one big mistake that the Bills made. I mean, they rushed 3. They were playing cover 2, and great call by whoever their offensive coordinator is. I know Mike McDaniel probably had a hand in that as well. But great call. They make that 3rd and 22, like Sean said earlier, and that basically turned the game around. Kudos. I actually thought that Hamlin and Johnson did a great job. I mean, Hamlin, physical dude, got in there on some tackle for losses. I think he was involved in a sack. Great job by them. Kudos to McKenzie, Singletary, and Moss, even though the run game kind of is not there, and I'll talk about that in a second. Those guys showed up in the pass catching, and I'll tell you what, 9 catches for Singletary, and Moss with that huge. It was like a 3rd and 5, and he catches the ball. Looks like he's going to be just stopped for no gain. Makes a nice juke, gets the first down. So good stuff from them. Disappointments. And I got a few of them. I'm disappointed that we can't seem to win 1-score games. 7 in a row. I think, Sean, you touched on it earlier. I don't know who to blame on this, guys. Maybe you can help me out later, but 7 in a row where we just can't get it done in 1-score games. I just can't figure that out. Even with all the issues we had yesterday, we still had a chance to win, and we failed. I'm disappointed in this offensive line. Dude, we talked about this offensive line bringing Roger Saffold, being able to run, kind of came up with an excuse. Hey, we played Aaron Donald. We played what's the other gentleman from the Titans?
Jeffrey
Simmons.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, maybe that was the reason. No, it doesn't seem to be the case. And Roger Saffold, you know what? He's a great run blocking guard, but it's becoming apparent to me that he's not meant for a pass blocking guard. I mean, I when we look at the film study that we'll do this week, I think you'll see some of that. It's pretty apparent. He's at the he's not at the peak of his career anymore. And I think over the last few years, he was definitely on a decline as far as pass blocking. Let's see here. What else do we got? Spencer Brown looks like his back surgery and lack of reps in camp and preseason have set him back big time. Questenberry was not much better when he came in for Brown, who left the Heat with heat illness, aka I'm getting beat so bad, coach, take me out. I don't know. Drink more water, young man. Drink more water. I'm disappointed that Ken Dorsey didn't come down to the field and crack some skulls before the game ended instead of showing that temper tantrum at the end of the game. I mean, come on. That's a joke. Come on, talk. Come on down and just ream somebody if they're not. And I want to ask you guys, why you think he blew up. And then finally, kind of disappointed that I have to listen to the media for the whole week talking about the Dolphins being the best team in the
It's
AFC.
gonna be more than a week.
Maybe. I don't know. Things can change and a dime. I mean, they play the Bengals, the team that went to the Super Bowl. So who knows? But anyhow, let me ask you guys. I'll throw it to you, Jake. You saw the reaction from Dorsey.
Yeah.
Was he mad just about the fact that did he maybe call a play that they didn't execute? Was it the whole game in general?
I think it was just a combination of everything, Mike. I mean, he was just composure seems to be an issue that the Bills have across the board. My cousin actually did a really good article on it, sort of talking about how the Bills just lost composure. You even see it with Josh sometimes. He gets like that sugar high where he his face gets all red and you can see it. He gets emotional. And there was the one play with Christian Wilkins where he was down on the ground. I guess Christian Wilkins kind of twisted his nuts or something like that. He talked about it a little bit in his press conference. He said, it's just football.
That's what
and
happens.
A lot of
piles. They do anything.
A lot of stuff. I was just gonna say a lot of stuff happens underneath those piles that people don't want to hear about. And that it's not uncommon that stuff like that happens. But understand why he's pissed off, of course. But again, it's like one of those things where sometimes it's it's always first off, it's always the second guy. It's never the first guy that gets the flag. And on top of that, with the just going back to the Ken Dorsey thing, I think it was just a combination of everything. I think at a certain point, you lose it. And everyone's coming after. I've seen a lot of people come after this guy and be like, you're setting a bad example. So I feel the total opposite. I get it. Yeah, he broke a Surface Pro, whatever. This guy cares about this team. He was pissed off with the performance that he saw on the field, and he's frustrated. I mean, there's no excuse for putting up 497 yards of total offense and not winning that game by 30. I just don't get it. I mean, the difference across the board on paper, you would have thought if you would have just looked at the stats alone, you would have thought that was an absolute blowout of a game, and it wasn't. And I just can't figure it out, why we can't win these one-score games. It's been an issue, and we got to get there because I'll tell you what, if we want any chance at winning a Super Bowl, it's only going to get harder from here, and we're going to face a lot better teams than the Dolphins. I'm not, crapping on the Dolphins or anything like that. Credit where credit's due. Mike, I think you worded everything you just said beautifully, and I think you have to give all of those players on the Dolphins team a ton of credit, a ton of respect. And I'll tell you this, man, Tua, he might not be the best quarterback in the league, but he's a winner. Say what you want about him. I mean, this guy won national championships. He's always rose to the occasion. He's battled through a ton of adversity. Yesterday, sure, maybe he was concussed. I'm sure he was. It looked like he was, but he was able to make the throws, and that 3rd and 22 throw was unbelievable. And he's clutch. He's definitely clutch. He's got the clutch gene. I can at least say that. So I don't want to hype him up too much here. I don't think he's a better quarterback than Josh Allen, like some Dolphins fans were saying, which is psychotic. On top of that, I do want to say, being at the game, walking out of the stadium at the end of the game, of course you hear a lot of chirps and stuff, and it's well warranted. I'm wearing a Bills jersey. I'm at their stadium, even though Bills fans overtook it. And they're allowed to give us some jabs and whatnot, but you have some of these. Don't claim you're a Dolphins fan if you don't even know who Chris Chambers is. That pisses me off. I don't mean to gatekeep, but don't ride the coattails when they're hot when you weren't there for their 1-15 season with Cam Cameron. That's insane to me. As a true fan, you need to, like us, maybe we should, this is good. This is humbling for everyone. Don't get too high on your horses and just follow the team when they're good. Don't be a bandwagoner. There's nothing worse than a bandwagon fan. So that I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to get too much into it because it did get me a little fired up. I got to admit, I lost my composure a touch when I was hearing some of the things, and I kind of had to dial it back a bit. But I will say, for the most part, a lot of the chirps were sort of friendly, and it was all good. But there were a lot of other people that I heard talking to other Bills fans, and I'm like, come on, man. Like, and I talked to some people we were out at bars and whatnot the night before and talking to some Dolphins fans, and it's like that you can't even tell me who Ricky Williams is. Like that's insane. Like you can't say you're a Dolphins fan. You know what I mean? Like that's wild to me.
They could
Where
have
was I going?
They could have some memory loss, Jake. So I mean,
Sure. Yeah, maybe.
I get it. Look, Ken Dorsey, the whole thing. I was making fun of it. I love the passion. I love the fact that he's upset. Like I said, I wanted them to come down the field earlier and just ream this offensive line. Whatever. I'm okay with all that. It was kind of a joke on my side from me. But I do want to say, Rick. Rick is he's on our show, right? He does our golf shows, and he'll be live with Tony at 9:30 in about 45 minutes. And then he does our fantasy football show, which, by the way, if you're into fantasy football, check them out. But he did say this, and it's a great segue. He says, I'm going to be there in person to voodoo your boys. And I just want to say, in the description of the video, I was talking with the guys today. I put out a little funny link. I said, there is a link there to reverse a curse. And I think it goes back to... It goes back to the early 60s when we lost the AFL championship game to go to the first Super Bowl. And ever since then, I don't know if someone sold their soul to the devil. I don't know. But there's 4 ways to reverse the curse. Check that link out. And if you're a Bills fan, do all 4, because not only is all this crazy stuff happening, but all these injuries this year, we're only through week 3. And it's like, I think I heard that the Bills are opening up tryouts to the public to come play for them. I think I heard that rumor today because they have nobody else. So Sean, suit up. Jake, suit up. Get over there and help this team out, because I don't know who we're gonna have. Anyhow, yes, check out that funny little link I put out there. It's just like reverse the curse. Let's go.
You know what? I want to highlight Yup's comment. You're right, man. Don't say concussed, because guess what?
Yeah.
Regardless of what we think, he was back in the game, and he played a hell of a ball game. And all credit where credit's due. Tua played awesome, man. He did enough. He got them that win and made the throws that he needed to make. So, I'll rescind that comment. I'll rescind it.
Good stuff. Rick says, cheer up. Y'all look like your dogs just died. What are you kidding me? Come on. Seriously. We are disappointed.
I don't know what's worse, man. Letting up that 35-14 comeback, or us just not being able to execute. I mean, both of our teams got beat up pretty bad there, so you hate to see it.
Yep, agree. Hey, so before we're going to go around now, so I think we've vented a lot, and I'll go around and ask you one last time if you got it all out, and then we're going to talk about how do we turn it around, what do we got to do for this big game against the Ravens. I know for sure we got to have a nice little side bet with Rick and Chris, but I'm at that point where I'm going to tell you how to get a guaranteed entry on the wheel for that giveaway for 2 tickets and parking for the Sunday night game against the Packers. And the way you're going to do it is in the description of the video, you have a link to our Discord channel. You need to join our Discord channel. When you join our Discord channel, you're going to be into the welcome thread. It just says, hey, welcome to the channel, blah, blah, blah. But on the left side, whether you're using the mobile app or not, there are 3 threads. One of them is the Buffalo Bills thread. We need you to come in there and actually just say hello and put your YouTube name. Tell me who your YouTube name is. That way, your name will show up on the wheel. That's it. Click that link, get into our Discord. And if you're not familiar with Discord is, it's just a nice, cool little chat program. And we can talk about the Bills every day if you want. We don't have to wait for shows. We have people in that thread just talking daily, and we have people monitoring it. I know I monitor it. Jake monitors it. And if you're interested in fantasy football, Chris and Rick, they have a thread. There's a fantasy football thread. Sure, go in there. If you're into fantasy football, they'll answer your questions real time. They do it on their live show, but why wait to their live show when you can go into the Discord? So, and then there's a golf thread as well. So again, to get a guaranteed entry, click the link in the description, join our Discord channel, go into the Bills thread, say hello, and then tell me what your YouTube name is. That's it. And you'll see your name on that final wheel. Good luck.
There you go.
All right. Good luck. Last time, Sean, let me throw it around. Did you get it all out? Because we're gonna try to flip it. Kind of try to come up with a game plan for this week against the Ravens. What we're gonna have to do. But talk to me.
Yeah. Well, like I said, at that third quarter, I knew it was done, and I was already on the Ravens week. So, I mean, like I said, I wasn't gonna come on here and blame injuries because we had every opportunity. I'm more mad at the Bills. Dolphins had a great game plan. They didn't make mistakes besides that crappy punt, but other than that,
How have we not talked about that
The
yet?
butt punt, yes,
Come
I
on.
know.
Because we lost, so it does. It's not as funny because if we won because of it, then it's a meme. But now it just doesn't. Now it just doesn't matter, I guess. But
Right.
but yeah, I mean, they play mistake-free football, so great win for them. I'm just pissed off at these guys. Josh, the one time he actually did that twice now. So he threw a 1-yard pass short to McKenzie last week. Didn't matter, but now he did it again. So it's like he's like second guessing himself. And you're probably the best quarterback in the league. And when it comes down to the last throw, now we have to question it. Are you going to make that throw now? When we play the Ravens next week in a shootout, are you going to make that throw? When we play Pittsburgh and against a good defense, are you going to make that throw? When we play Kansas City, are you going to make that throw? When we play the Packers, are you going to make that throw now? So we could screw around and go 2-5, and then the season's basically over. So with all these, now I can talk about injuries because we're going into week 4. So with all this stuff happening, and then with things that we could control, so that play that Josh missed, that's him. That's all him. That he should have made that throw 100%. So again, he played a fantastic game too. But as you guys all said, he had multiple throws that could have been picks, which was bad. But I mean, that's going to happen. But that throw needs to be made. With on the 1-yard line with 4 plays and you can't punch it in. That's coaching, execution, and that's it. There's no, and that's every year now. Every year we can't get home on the red zone. And that's how you lose football games. The Dolphins were 3 for 3. They were efficient in their drives. They didn't play better than us, like offensively, obviously, when you look at the stats, but they were more efficient and they scored when they needed to. Tua didn't have a great game, and I don't think, honestly, in my opinion, 186 yards and 1 touchdown doesn't win any games for you, honestly, except for this one.
He also didn't really need to.
Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. He did
13
enough,
of 18, Sean. So
he
pretty good.
did enough,
Efficient.
but it wasn't like, I'm sure I haven't watched any of my Dolphins friends yet, but I'm sure none of them were, gleaming for joy about Tua because they were looking for a progression from the Ravens game. They were looking, if we lose, we want to see him be able to compete. I mean, did he really compete or I don't know, but he won the game. And he didn't make any mistakes, which was awesome for him, and I think that's an improvement for them. But again, I give 100% credit to the Dolphins. They outcoached and outplayed us, and hopefully we don't do the same thing again next time we play. But I'm honestly super concerned about the state of the Bills right now because it's week 3 and McDermott's sitting, making statements like, "Oh, I want Gabe Davis for January, not this week." Well, you might not make it to January if you keep playing like this. If you can't keep you guys healthy and you can't win close games, you might not make it to January. Luckily, the Raiders are 0-3. The Titans are 1-2. There's a lot of teams that are supposed to be winning that aren't. So maybe my prediction was wrong about you have to win 11 games to make the playoffs. Could be wrong. The Bills could go 16-1, but like I said, we could easily lose to these next 4 games. Lamar's been playing like an MVP. He's the number 1 MVP candidate in my opinion right now, and then it's Josh. But Lamar's on fire. He's killing everybody. So if we can't produce, again, if we can't get 30 or 40 points next week, we are not going to win this game. If we don't score on the Pittsburgh defense, Pittsburgh's bad on offense, but they got a great defense. And if we're having Greg Mance start center, against Pittsburgh, they got a great defensive line too. So we got to we got to play sound football. We can't make dumb mistakes, dumb mental errors. We can't miss catches in the end zone wide open. We can't miss passes wide open in the end zone. We can't kill ourselves with penalties. We can't drop every pass on an important drive. That's why you lose the close games. Like you want to know, it's coaching and it's execution of the plays. Gabe Davis, 2 drops. Again, I'm going to repeat that. 2 drops, and then Diggs with a drop, which was uncharacteristic of him. Those are 3 plays with a minute and a half left that you could have, or less than a minute and a half left, but it could have made a difference. And then people are trying to blame McKenzie, like, oh, he should have got out of bounds. He had no chance to get out of bounds. He was trying to get to a closer spot to spot it, and they didn't spot it. But, I mean, hey, we're a great football team, but we're faced with adversity by week 3, and we got to see how they respond. I mean, it's a collective effort. Coaches got to respond. Players got to respond. Yeah, Hamlin did good. Elam did good. And, I mean, according to PFF, Jaquan Johnson did horrendous. He was like a 20, and according to PFF. But he had a lot of good – like what I did like from Jaquan Johnson was he had a lot of good hits. He was physical.
He's very physical.
And he's promising. But once I watch the film, I'll be able to see if PFF was correct. And that's what I like about it, is because PFF is the best we got as far as analytics and football goes. So when you watch the film, like we're going to start doing together, you can compare it to how they did. And I mean, the offensive line from eye value, they looked pretty good in the first 2 weeks. But when we watched the film, I didn't even do the whole film study. I did like a quarter and a half, and I found like 20 plays of horrendous football. And then, Leslie Frazier's going on saying how Edmonds has been the reason the run defense has improved. When I found 6, I'm just an average Joe. I found 6 plays where Edmonds missed tackles and opportunities, and I guarantee you there's at least 10 more on this next film. So there's a lot of guys that got to step up, and I'm looking at Edmonds, and the secondary's got a lot of promise. Now Benford's out, so now Ingram's got to step up. Undrafted rookie from Buffalo, he's got another guy with a lot of promise. So we got to let this depth that is so great speak for itself next game. Hopefully we take down the Ravens and get back on the win column, but it's going to be hard now. We weren't expecting this, to be honest, right? We were expecting, the Bills are always healthy. The Bills always can keep everybody good to go, and there's only like 1 or 2 guys on the injury report. We'll be good. And then now there's 17 people on it.
Law of averages, I guess, right? I mean, it was bound to happen.
So, I mean, it's very early still. I'm not going to say the world's falling, but there's a chance it may. So, the coaches are very important in this point in time. I can't just have McDermott go up there and say, I got full confidence in these guys. You got to actually have them show that, because they're the number. This is when coaching matters in football the most, is when you don't got your everyday guys out there. You got to have guys that aren't supposed to be playing like, I mean, Von said it, like with the secondary, you couldn't even tell nobody was out there. And I know that was a little bit, giving a little bit too much credit, I think, because that play to Waddle, it wouldn't have happened if Poirier and Hyde were there. So Von was giving them a lot of flowers, which they deserve. They deserve a lot of credit.
Outside of that play, though, really, I mean, they did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I'll give them that for sure. I mean, Elam did incredible, minus that touchdown that he let up, but he only let up 2 catches, and one of them was that touchdown. So, I mean, that was actually like his first full-blown start. So, against a team like that, holding Waddle to 2 catches, a lot of credit. But there's just all the frustration I have with the team and the coaching staff right now. I mean, once I watch this film, I could do a 10-hour show on it, and I know we're not going to, but I'm just ready to dissect this film.
KP,
Yes.
We just talked about that, man. We just said we've lost the last 7 games that have been 1-score games. So yeah, absolutely, it's concerning. It's either a blowout or in the 1-score game we lose. So it's alarming for sure. And you got to think,
not really
like
quarterback that though too. Also.
Yeah, and I'll say this: you can't have Josh Allen be 85% of your team every single game. Like, you got to give him a little bit of help here and there. I mean, this dude's just out here dragging his nuts across the field. I mean, my gosh, like, you got to help the guy out a little bit every once in a while too. Now, there were some moments. Obviously, he didn't make the throw to Isaiah McKenzie, so that's absolutely on him. The bobbled snap, that's a little bit on him and the center. And he almost threw a pick 6, and instead of throwing it at Stephon Diggs' feet, because you can't just spike it there, that would have been intentional grounding. So instead, you throw it at Stephon Diggs' feet, maybe to the sideline. Then maybe you get a field goal there in that situation. Obviously, that's like very split second. That's a hard decision to make in that moment of time, and obviously still got a completion out of it, but could have got it maybe a field goal there. So yeah, hey, you know what? Listen. The reality is the Bills lost this game, and you have to give the Dolphins their flowers. They played really well, and they are a very good team. Do I think they are a better team than the Bills if both teams are at full strength? Absolutely not. But you cannot use the lack of starters on the field and the injuries as excuses because we were in position to win the game and we just didn't. We didn't win the game. It's a loss,
Exactly.
and
100%.
that's the reality, man.
Sorry, one more thing, Mike. I said this to you guys earlier. For everyone that supports Kyle Brandt as a Bills fan, can we just like not do that anymore?
You didn't like his Ken Dorsey thing?
No, he's the most flip-floppiest guy for years. I've been saying it for years now. So You remember last year when we lost to New England 10-7, he's like, yeah, I mean, New England's winning this division, blah, 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 blah. And then today he goes, Bills Mafia, we don't care that you had no starters. Like, take the L and move on. Like, whatever. And they're like, It's like, dude, like, don't come next week when we win by 30 and say, Bills Mafia, whoa, let me eat a chicken wing and pick your next draft pick. No, we're not. Like, it's so stupid. Like, you either like the team or you don't. So don't go
You're a ride or die. I agree, Sean.
Don't go on there and say, like, oh, nobody cares and, take your L. Like, saying take your L to somebody is like, that's like super disrespectful, right? So
you can't say it.
I mean,
hey,
and again, like you're 100% right. Those excuses about injuries are lame because we had two opportunities in the end, and that's why I keep repeating those things about us doing wrong is because that's what's so frustrating is like what the one time you missed that we're like, oh, that's the game, and then Von makes a great play on third down. And then they have to punt, right? And then we're like, oh, we still got a shot. Let's see what we do. And then the same failure with – it's always the blocking. Remember how we always said last year, it's like, oh, it's third down and long. Guarantee we don't hold the block for this one. And then Josh gets set. It's like everything goes wrong in those one-score games. It's like the other team always wants it more. And that's what I screamed at my TV on fourth down. It's like, who wants it more? Let's freaking go. And then Josh throws a duck. And I'm like –
yeah.
Like, come on, guys. Like, and again, I still have to figure out our when's a QB stat or not because people say like Allen's 1-7 in one score games, and it's not just Allen. It's everything. It's a team. I don't like that their QB stat anymore.
No, I hear you there.
It's the whole team. Like if your coach calls crappy plays and your O-line doesn't block and you don't do this, you drop a pass, you don't do like it's so many things that go into everything. So Miami wanted it more in the last two drives. I get they were so hungry for this win. They couldn't like all my friends that are Fins fans. They had the post on Facebook right in the chat box like F the Bills, all this bad stuff ready to type. And then we had that punt go in the end zone for a safety. They erased it, and then they're coming back, and then they couldn't wait for this. And we know how that feels when we finally beat New England without Brady, though. Mm-hmm. But it means a lot to a fan base, and they're going to enjoy this win. I'm sure they're going to enjoy this till December, until we play again. But, I mean, of course, we're salty right now about how we executed. There's a lot of great things, like you said, 500 yards of offense. This isn't going to happen again ever to any team where you beat someone in total yards by that much in time of possession and you score 17 points and lose. But there's a lot of good things there. Josh, 10 different receivers caught a ball. Singletary had 9 catches. Moss had a nice explosive run.
How about Greg Rousseau and Matt Milano? Outside of the drop pick 6, Matt Milano continues to cement his I don't even know what the word is. His status as the top linebacker on this team. I mean, he's unbelievable. One of the better linebackers
number one according
in the league.
To PFF.
Should be. He should be.
He is. He's number one. And then Rousseau got 3.5 sacks. He's almost Micah Parsons has 4, so he's up there with the best of them. I think he has the most tackles for a loss this season so far. He's just eating everybody alive, and Von's always good. Boogie is number one for edge rusher.
How about Boogie, man?
He's doing great, and there's so many good things, but you have to be critical of your team. We care so much, us three, and all these Bills fans care so much. Even though they're not going to see us be critical, that's just part of being our fan. Our fan base is like you can't just say, "Oh, Josh did perfect, the whole line did perfect, the wide receivers did perfect." We got to be we're always realistic. Just for people listening, we give people flowers, and then if something goes wrong, we talk about it because we're a Super Bowl team, and we've been waiting for 20 years for this kind of thing. And it's also fun to talk about because it makes you think more. And then it's like, oh, well, Josh had 400 yards passing, but one of the passes he missed could have won the game. Or Gabe Davis is a great receiver, but he had more drops than catches. You know what I mean? So it's like
stats only say so much,
Yeah, and he did, like Jake said. I'm sorry if I'm talking too much, Mike, but Jake's right. Josh does carry the team more than any other person in the league, and that does stink in a way because he takes a lot of hits, and it's just scary in a way. But he wants to win more than anybody. He's a winner. He's just a true competitor. And I was a little bit frustrated when he ripped Wilkins' helmet off in the last drive. It's the fourth quarter. Like, I know he twisted you, but you got to think about the game at that point. Like, after the game, if you want to pull a Bobby Hart and and swing at him, but no, I'm just joking. But
right.
I mean, I was telling Mike, like, we were like, oh, why would you do that? Like, that's such a boneheaded play because that could have been a big part in the game. But yeah, pull up KP's comment so we could speak on that, Mike. The last one.
Yeah, Jake could bring that up too, but
Josh Boyer, man, I'll tell you.
No, the other one, the
defense thing.
Allen.
Josh Boyer,
that
guy.
See those down there.
You
Sorry.
guys got a really good defensive coordinator in him. I really like him a lot. And actually, you guys played aggressive too. I mean, really, you played a lot of cover zero, a lot of blitzing, and you put the pressure on Josh quite a bit. I mean, yeah, sure, he was taking some of those checkdowns. Devin Singletary had 9 catches, but like, you guys did a really good job. I mean, there's no doubt. But yeah, also then it's the bend don't break thing. Exactly. You can let up all those yards, but when it came down to it, red zone defense, I mean, you guys held them. So
yeah, but
all
again,
right,
I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Let me interject here a little bit.
I know.
mean,
We got another show
like,
coming up.
Why is Mike not talking? Well, thank you for letting my young guns here speak and vent a little bit. When I've been through, let me go back here. 1988, I wasn't there, but I was a fan watching the. Let me go back even to the 70s. I was watching the Bills when we lost 10 straight years to the Dolphins. I was there and watching in 1988 when we lost the AFC Championship game to the Bengals. I actually was at the game in Cleveland in 1989 when we lost that game. It was a divisional round playoff game, but I was in Cleveland fighting with the dog pound, and we lost that one. I've been through the 4 Super Bowl losses. I've been through the Music City Miracle. I've been through the 13-second. I've got a lot in me that I've been able to kind of get over things. I don't have to vent as much as these guys. That's why I'm not talking as much, but I'm also trying to help them out, let them vent. So thank you. I am actually very happy that this is becoming a rivalry again. And I'll tell you why. My good friend out there, Mr. Troy Gregory Media, he and I go way back. And we were we've been friends since the Kelly Marino days. And I'm glad to see this rivalry becoming a thing again. We got tired of seeing the Patriots all the time. I love this rivalry. So let's go. It's going to be fun. They are a team that obviously can compete with the best. They beat what many people consider to be the Super Bowl champs. And yes, that we're going to be the Super Bowl champs. And yes, you can come up with all the excuses you want. And the bottom line is we had opportunities to win. We didn't. They got the job done. Congratulations. I did want to, we're running out of time. I did want to go around quickly. Sean, I'm sorry I cut you off, but I got to get going because we're getting short on time here. We got another show coming up. But last 2 minutes, each of you, let me go around. I'll start with you, Jake. What do we got to do to turn it around? How are we going to get, how are we going to get ready for this Ravens team with all these injuries? Talk to me. Let's flip it. Let's bring it home in a positive way.
Of course, yeah. I'm going to start with Rick's question. Would we want to trade Sean McDermott? Would I want to trade Sean McDermott for John Harbaugh straight up? Answer is no. Obviously John Harbaugh has won a Super Bowl, but I love Sean McDermott too much. I have too much of an emotional attachment to him, so my answer is no. And that's my answer. I mean, I can't even tell you. I mean, obviously the pedigree on John Harbaugh a little bit stronger, but Sean McDermott, I have all the faith in the world, and I think he works so well with Brandon Beane, so the chemistry's there. With the Ravens, absolutely, you got to spy Lamar, and you got to throw the football all over that defense. I think you can really exploit that secondary. I think Stephon Diggs has to have a monster day, and it's definitely bound to be one of those games where it could be potentially a shootout. But we also said that about the Dolphins game, and it didn't really turn out to be. So maybe our young secondary keeps it going, and our defensive line gets a hold of them. I know the Ravens are trying to, obviously pass protect a little bit better for Lamar, but I think the key is obviously just spying Lamar, making sure he doesn't do too much damage, and just throwing the football all day. So there's my answer, and looking forward to next week. It's going to be a good one. We have a bet out there too, guys. So if we win, if the Bills win, both Chris and Rick from our channel are going to have to wear something Bills related. Maybe I'll send you guys something, just so it makes it a little bit easier, so you guys at least have something to wear. And then, again, if the Ravens win, then I do have a jersey that I could sport on one of our shows. So that is a running bet we have going.
I love it. I know what I'm going to wear if I have to, but hopefully I don't. It'll be so sad to have to show any type of Raven gear on our next show, but we're in it. It's going to be fun. And I hope we can get Chris or Rick on the show on the pregame, which we're going to be at our normal time on Sunday, which is at 8 in the morning on the West Coast, 11 a.m. on the East Coast. So let me throw it to you, Sean. 2 minutes, kind of how do we turn this around?
Well, I don't even want to say anything yet until I know who's playing and who's not. But I mean, Lamar's not Tua, so the secondary's got even more work to do because Bateman and Duvernay are just as fast as Hill and Waddle, and then you got Lamar running the ball, you got J.K. Dobbins running the ball, you got a 320-pound fullback, you have a good offensive line. So this is more
Mark Andrews.
Yeah, this is more of a matchup nightmare than last week, and we couldn't win last week. So again, it's getting healthy and executing when you need to, and not shooting yourself in the foot in the red zone every time you go down there. So red zone offense wrapping up, especially against Lamar. Yeah, he gained 15 pounds of muscle, but he's still fast as hell. So wrap it up with Lamar and Tremaine. Yeah, he's really good at not hitting holes, so he should be able to spy Lamar pretty well. So I expect a good game out of Edmonds in that sense. And I mean, like I said, execution. You got to play perfect football when you're not 100%, and we failed to do that in the close games. So either we got to blow them out and play great defense with who we got, or if it's a close game, can't make mistakes and can't rush, because it seems like a lot of times we were rushing on third downs and fourth downs. So we can't have that because it just causes chaos. So hopefully everybody stays healthy and we can give the Ravens a good game. But wrapping up, and it's going to be tough for the secondary because, like you said, Mark Andrews is an incredible, probably the best tight end in the league. And then Duvernay and Bateman aren't slouches either. So it's going to be a tough challenge, but I think they're up for it. So wrap up, score in the red zone, and don't shoot yourself in the foot. That's how you turn it around.
Love it. Rick, yes, you can come. I'll actually bring it to you. I'll deliver it to you. I have a nice Kelly jersey for you to wear. I will not let you wear the JA-17. It's kind of newer, but I want you to go old school when you lose with the Kelly jersey. For me, guys, let's get that offensive line rolling. Look, they're kind of looking very similar to that offensive line that struggled early last year, right? We added Saffold. We actually turned it on towards the end of the year, but I don't know what's happening. We got to get that turned around. I think you guys forgot. We met Lamar Jackson in the playoffs a couple years ago, and we handled him just fine. You know what? Taron Johnson is a huge fan of Lamar. He wants him. He wants to play against him. He has his biggest games against Lamar. So don't forget about that, guys. I mean, they had Andrews that in that playoff game. Come on, this team is ready to go. I don't think I know. You can talk all about the injuries. I'm not using that as an excuse at all. We're going to go into Baltimore, and we're going to take this game. I also Lamar's looking for a payday. You can see he's playing like that. He probably wants $300,000 guaranteed. But guess what? Not on our dime. This game ain't going to help him get that payday whatsoever. So I have all the confidence in the world that my boy Taron Johnson is going to be saying, hey, Lamar, throw me another ball so I can take it to the house one more time. So let's go. Let's go, Bills. I'm I'm confident. I am very confident. So let's roll. We'll have our pregame show and we'll talk more in detail. But yeah, let's do this. We got, let's see. Yeah, I want to say thank you. We had a great interaction. I saw some folks that I haven't seen before. If you're new to both channels, either the Nickel City Mafia or the Red, White, and Bills, get on over to Red, White, and Bills and smash his subscribe button, comment, like. Same here. We always say drop a nickel on that subscribe button. I know Tony's out there. That's Val and Camila. We got our little, 6-year-old and 8-year-old supporting the channel here.
Oh,
and
nice.
they're going live here in about 15 minutes. So we got a few minutes.
They gave us the clock emoji there, Mike. They're like, get the hell off. It's time for us to get on.
Those 2 little girls of his are super cute, and they should be models. And look at them. We got to get them on the show sometime. But anyhow, closing thoughts, guys. We talked about it. We're going to turn it around this week. But I wanted to see something real quick. I haven't seen Derek upside down. Derek, his name is upside down. Is he a Bills guy or a Dolphin guy? Did we talk about?
I see. Okay, I was wondering what that was. I'm glad. Yeah. Okay, Derek upside down. That's pretty cool, huh? It looks like he may be a Bills fan. I don't know, or maybe he's just a neutral fan. And he's just trying to stir the pot a little bit. I'm excited. One last thing, Mike. I'm really excited to talk about who has more yards next week between Patrick Ricard and Reggie Gilliam. I also met Reggie Gilliam's teammate at the game in Miami. Super fun. Played college ball with him. Came right up to me. We talked a little bit of shop. It was great.
Awesome. I will say next week too, I'll put on our pregame show who's winning the bet between James Cook and Devin Singletary. Obviously, Singletary got a few more yards on him yesterday. Jake and I have a nice little bet on that one. Who will have the most total yards? Sean, closing thoughts. You come to our channel so much. Talk to the fans over here, the subscribers, about your channel. Couple minutes. Tell them about you and tell them about your show. You put out some great content. We love you, man.
Oh, thanks. I love you guys too, and part of my great content is because of you guys. So don't give me all the credit. But no, I mean, we're just now starting to dabble with the film breakdown. I expect both of these handsome gentlemen to join me this week. It was a little bit lonely, but it's fun, and they're gonna have a lot of fun doing it too. And I know they don't like 2-hour shows sometimes, but the film is something you could do for like 2 hours, and you feel like, because mine was like a half hour, and I felt like 2 minutes. So when you actually get in the show, Mike did a little bit of it. When you get to see the people in their positions and where they missed, and you get to speak on it to the people out watching, it's very fun. But yeah, so I do post-game, pre-games, and then film breakdowns with these 2 guys here, and do a lot of collabs with other people out there, Go Bills podcast as well. And but yeah, it's all fun here, and we always keep it real and objective. I'm not going to do pre-games, neither are these 2, and say, oh, nobody on the other team is good. They all stink. Terrible coach, terrible team. We're going to, I mean, some games we do walk away with it easily, but we give credit to other teams and they're great players. So we're not some people who just say, oh, no matter what, it's we could have nobody playing. We can have me, Jake, and Mike suit up and we can win. But we're very objective, which I think people appreciate. So come check it out if you like. And then probably hopefully tomorrow or the next day, if these 2 are available, we can do a film breakdown live, and you can even comment on certain plays you want to talk about, or if there's ever a time, I think these guys would like that too. If there's a certain player you want us to key in on, which would be also a lot easier too, we could do like a specific segment on just the players. So say Tremaine Edmonds, for example, we can just do a video of just about him and good plays, bad plays. And then I think you can let us know. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to that. It's just fitting in the time. We all got real
it's
jobs,
hard.
and it's hard fitting in. We're already doing a couple shows a week, but we want to do it. It's fun. Yeah, we hope to bring that to you.
Civil War, baby. we gotta create a logo for that or something. Have me and Mike's face on it, and then Chris and Rick. I think that'd be hilarious.
Not only is it a civil war between Chris and Rick, you guys all know my story. I got a little boy, a little 10-year-old.
My gosh, how can we forget?
Who got hooked on Lamar Jackson. I mean, he and I talked about it. I said, Jonah, you're not my son come Sunday. You know that, right? And he said, yeah, Dad, and you're not my dad on Sunday. So we're going to go to war as well.
Wow.
But we did say this. Look, I did get him he finally admits that Buffalo's his second favorite team. And when they lost to the Bills a couple years ago, what he said to me going into the game is, and I pretend, don't let him, I hope he doesn't watch this. I pretend that the Ravens are my second favorite. And what he says all the time is, look, Dad, whoever wins, we should be happy, right? Because it's one of our two favorite teams. So I go with that because my little boy cries when his team loses. And he's like me when I was little. And, I won't lie. Sometimes I still shed a few tears. But hey, that's what it's about, being a huge fan. So, oh, Troy's saying, let's get this. What's he saying? Rick says, your son could be my son. Let's go. I've actually joked with him. I said, look, I'm going to find a Baltimore family and I'm going to do a swap. I'm going to send you out to Baltimore. Here he comes right now into the door. I'm going to send you out to Baltimore. I'm going to swap you with a family that has a Bills fan. We're just going to do it. It's going to be a fan swap, son fan swap. Come over here, buddy. Anyhow,
Rick,
what do we
be
got
safe
here?
on Sunday because they said Hurricane Ian's going to probably affect the game. So bring a couple pairs of clothes if you got to, and if it's cold, bring hand warmers so you don't freeze. So stay safe.
Yes, sir.
Rick, listen, if you're not going shirtless at that game, especially right after Chris's wedding, I'll be very disappointed. And congratulations to Chris, by the way.
Yeah,
He's getting
congrats,
married.
Chris. Congrats. What's he say? What's he got there? If you guys are watching the show and like golf, tune in. Yeah, they're going live here in about 9 minutes. They never show up for our shows, but I got to say, I know exactly why they're there right now because they're waiting to take over the channel and talk golf. So we'll let them go. But anyhow, Sean, thank you so much. Again, get over to his channel, smash that subscribe button if you're new to our channel. We welcome every fan. As you saw, we just want to talk football, and I don't care whose fan you are. Look, we have we let Rick and Chris on our show. I mean, they actually do shows for us, and they're Ravens fans. And but hey, we welcome everyone. It's so much fun interacting with you guys. So thank you, Sean. Thank you, Jake. I know you're dead tired being at the game yesterday and getting home. So get some rest, both of you guys.
It's all mindset, baby.
It is late on the East Coast.
He doesn't need sleep.
We'll see you guys Sunday. Go Bills.
Hey, mahalo, Trick. Go Bills.
Yes, and good to see you out there, Trick. Thank you. Bye-bye.